I'm an IT operations and security admin by day, which means I spend most of my time managing invisible systems. But lately, I've been obsessed with a system I can actually touch: 3D printing. I've given myself a challenge. Can I turn a messy workbench and 60 spools of plastics into a profitable side hustle? Welcome to the video. And finally today I'm able to reel some numbers of how the sales at Kirpo are progressing. And we'll have a look at what's been sold, which challenges I have faced, and I'll try to do some thoughts about if I'm going to continue, if I need to make some changes, and so on. First of all, I'd like to talk a bit about my current experience at Kirpo. Overall, it's working super well. It's very, very easy. You prepare everything from home, then you go to the customer service desk, ask for your price tags, you get them, and you are either able to take them home, prepare everything here, or just mark them directly at the store. But I have also faced some unexpected challenges. I set up the store on Friday evening during the last hour of opening, and then it was ready for Saturday morning where my lease started. I did see some sales on Saturday and Sunday. Actually, I have seen sales every day. I went back to Kirpo on Sunday evening, I think, and just to do a quick cleanup and see if I needed to do some restocking. I didn't need to do restocking, I just added a few items. And when I went there Sunday, I also found out that I need to consider theft. Sadly, my big red and black skull had been stolen, and I'm very sure it was stolen. I'll explain why later. And also, most of my French bulldog keychains were gone and not sold. I then later went there. It must have been when I was there Sunday. I probably was there again Tuesday. I'm trying to go every second day just to clean up my stall and make sure everything is looking nice. It's kind of hard to make your stall stand out when there is hundreds of stalls there with all kinds of different things. I'm currently placed among two stalls selling only cloth, one with women's clothing and one with children's. So there's no toys just around my place. But I've also found out that I'm trying to keep it a bit organized, very simple, so it's not just stuff everywhere, which I see at some stalls. And when I personally look at a stall where there's hundreds of items, then I guess you could call it lose concentration, lose focus. I'm not able to see what everything is unless I want to spend a lot of time. And I guess that people at Kirpo do not want to spend a lot of time at each stall. They want to spend a short amount of time at a ton of stores so they get to go through everything. To be honest, I haven't seen that much of a mess at my booth. It's been minor changes every time I've been there, and it's actually quite a big surprise to me how many people are there every time I stop by. The parking lot is almost full, and there's people everywhere inside Kirpo. I haven't done a new video inside. I have a picture of when I set up my stall that I'll show you here. And I try to have the keychains, the flexies and the fidgets where kids could easily see and reach them. I later found out that that might be both good and bad. I'll explain why later. But so far it's been a fun experience. I've learned quite a lot. A lot of the knowledge that I would be able to use if I plan on continuing with Kirbo or anything like that. I've definitely seen that what's actually selling is definitely not my functional prints. Actually, I haven't sold a single one, which is kind of a big surprise, but I guess people go there for, I guess, mainly toys and cloth. On the positive side of that is that the prints that I have sold the most are also the prints with the highest profit margin. So I guess that's positive, but that also means that since it's cheap items, I need to sell a lot to make up just for the lease. And I think that my consideration around selling half my stock was definitely way off. I might be selling a quarter, and if I do that, I'll be happy. But let's move on with the video. I'll show you how my online store, my online page at Kirbo is turning out. And I'll go through the spreadsheet where I keep track of my sales and my profit and what I still need to earn to at least even out the expenses that I've had. I also need to reconsider how much of my spending should be covered by just one lease at Kirbo. I don't think it's fair that the 200 keychains I bought and the hundreds of Ziploc bags and all that kind of stuff should be covered. I also had to add another expense that I'll explain later. But let's move on with the video and start looking at the website. Okay, let's have a look at the website and how my store is going. So far, well, today's turnover, this is in Danish, it's a bit more than 10 bucks. Amount receivable is how much I've earned in total after commission for Kirbo. So in 5 days, I have made just over the lease of the stall. So the last 2 days of this week will be only profit. Let's have a look at what I've sold. It's been keychain, a silhouette saying Hakuna Matata, and then the three animals, Simba and was it Pumbaa, and I don't remember the last one. Keychain, 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 keychain. A house decor item saying love in Danish. Keychain, keychain. A house decor. It's a figure sitting with a heart and another keychain. So basically, most of my sales are keychains. It's actually quite funny. This one seems to be the same person that bought 2 of the Psyduck keychains. They seem to actually be rather popular since I've sold 4 of those. And that is the only item where I have sold more than one. If we look at my goods, then there is still quite a lot of different things. I've added a few items since the last video. I've added some towel holders. I added some phone holders. I did some new geometer keyrings. I added some hearts for Mother's Day. I found a dragonfly figure that I had just lying around. So basically, status after 5 days is that the lease on Kirbo is covered, and there's around 4 or 5 USD in profit after covering the lease. Now back at my spreadsheet, my total cost has been 1100 Danish for lease, filament, consumables, power, and supplies. When I look at what have been sold, then it's pretty much one of a couple of items, apart from the side dog, where it has been 4. The value down here is my current loss after having paid the Kippo commission. And as I told you earlier in the video, I have seen quite a lot of theft. So it's been 2 days since I visited the storefront. Usually I would go every other day. I just didn't have time today. Just to check out if I still have the items in store that I should have, and just a quick cleanup. Sometimes I need to go looking around the other stores if items has been misplaced. I so far only found 1 item that was misplaced, and I actually also had 1 broken item, but I guess that's what's gonna happen. I can't blame anyone for that apart from my prints not being strong enough. Remembering back at the Kippo site, I had around 250 in sales, but I also have 120 items stolen. I guess they are stolen. I went to all the different stores and I didn't find any of them. I'm 99% sure that the skull mask was stolen, since I placed it there in a Ziploc bag with the price tag on the back. The store opened Saturday and I went there Sunday evening, and there was only the empty Ziploc bag where the skull was supposed to be. That's a goner. I also went there 2 days ago, and apparently it was the store manager at the customer service desk, and I had a chat with him around how much is usually stolen, and he told me that it was actually very little. And I asked him about having some kind of alarm installed, and I was able to buy 10 tags that you just place on your items. They just stick to your item, and then the alarm in the store will go off if they're moved out of the store without having been paid for. 10 of those alarms were 20 Danish. It doesn't do that much to my profit. I chose not to place them on the very cheap items, but items like definitely the birdhouse, the Mother Day roses, the phone stands. I also think I did the battery holder and the big flex dragon. So my most expensive items now have an alarm installed to try to avoid having items stolen. But when I look at my stats on what have been stolen, it's actually the cheap items which do not have an alarm. So basically, I would still need to have a profit of 900. I'm trying to keep an eye on what's being sold just to make sure that if I choose to do this again, that I know which items actually attracts customers. Most of the things that are down in, you could call it kids hide, have been moved around, which is completely fine by me. People are welcome to have a look at it, feel what the prints feel like, and see if it's anything they would like. I just need to go there every now and then and do a bit of cleaning on the stall. So that's it for the spreadsheet. I'll just quickly finish off this video as it's a lot longer than expected. But today was a super good day for Kippo, and I made a new record sale. But I will show in the next video. So see you next time. Bye.